Welcome to this class. Now we are going to look at the introduction to functions of operating system. In this video, we are going to talk about everything about operating system, the basic functions of an operating system, the types of operating system, and what importance or what uses does this operating system provide for us. Now, operating system has many functions and functions, but the main function of an operating system is to manage the computer resources well. This function is carried out with the help of the user, and hence user interface should be properly and well maintained. So for these operating systems, we are going to make use of it to have a proper GUI for us to manage our computer system. Now, the function of OS helps the user to do the tasks assigned to the system and helps it to do it in a proper way. Services provided by the user is in the form of application software, and also controlling the device for several functions help the user to perform the task. When we talk about computer security, you see that operating system helps to manage the system security as well as other areas where operating system focus on system tasks and also to help the user. Now, one may ask, what is an operating system? This question has come up along the line for a long period of time, but in this video, we are going to explain properly what an operating system is all about. Now, from what we have in our definition, look at this diagrammatic representation of what an operating system is. Now, when we look at this operating system diagram, you see that operating system is at the center of this diagram. And now you see the applications at the top, the disk drive, the mouse, the printer, the keyboard, and then the monitor. Now the operating system is in the center, which means that the operating system is in charge of every component of the computer system. The operating system manages the hardware resources as well as the software. Now the hardware resources that we can see here is the keyboard, the mouse, the printer, even the monitor, and then the software resources is talking about the applications. So the operating system serves as an interface for the user. It manages the applications, also manages the hardware components of the computer system. Now, the operating system as a computing device helps the user to do the task assigned to it. For us to assign a task to either the hardware or the software, it is the function of the operating system to manage and provide those resources to the user. Now, the operating system acts as an intermediate between the hardware and input, output, and memory allocation functions. That is to say that the hardware is being managed by the operating system, the input and the output processing task is being coordinated by the operating system, as well as managing the memory of the computer system. When we talk about the memory of the computer system, that's where we talk about the RAM and the ROM. That is the primary memory, and then the auxiliary memory where we have the RAM and ROM, and so on. Now, operating system manages the following resources: the input devices, output devices, storage devices, and network devices. Now, input device include the keyboard, the mouse, and the output devices include the monitor, printer, scanner, and network devices and the modem and so on. Now, storage devices include internal and the external storage device. Now, for example of the internal storage device is the RAM and ROM, while the examples of the external storage, that where we have the flash drive, a hard disk, the CD-ROM, and so on. Now, the main components of operating system are the kernel, the user interface, and the application programming interface. Basic controls is provided by the kernel to the devices. The user interface helps in a user interaction with the operating system. Now, the code of this operating system and the applications is written by the developers using what we call the application programming interface or the user interface. Now, this simply means that for us to be able to see what is happening in the computer, the GUI, graphical user interface, it is the function of the operating system to provide the user that GUI, the design, the interface for us to be able to make use of the computer. Without the GUI, we are going to make use of what we call the MS-DOS, which is more of writing commands. Okay, then we have the examples of operating system. Now, when we look at this, we see the examples of operating system. The first icon there that looks like a parrot, Abi, yeah, that looks like a Belgium is a Linux. This is Linux operating system. The Linux operating system. Then below the Linux, the one that has a window designed known as Windows operating system. Now we have the Android operating system, which all of us know. Then below the Android operating system, we have the Apple operating system, that is the Mac OS. We call it the Macintosh operating system, developed by Apple company. Windows operating system was developed by Microsoft Corporation, and the owner of Microsoft Corporation is Bill Gates. Then we have the Ubuntu operating system, which is secular, which is an extension of Linux operating system, and we have the Fedora operating system. All these operating systems are being made available for you online, which you can download and make use of in your devices. Now, the functions of operating system. Operating systems and its functions, the most basic function of an operating system is to manage the hardware and the software. And when we talk about the software, we talk about the system and the application software. And then when we talk about operating system managing the hardware, we talk about the central processing unit, the RAM, and the input and output operations. That is what an operating system is. Take like talking about. Now, security is provided by operating system to the user data and prevent unauthorized access. Data can be protected by giving the password to the files. When an unknown user checks the file, operating system asks for the password, and hence the data is protected. The system itself is protected with a password. This helps in checking the person who logs into the system. So what it typically means is that operating system helps you in the security of your computer system, protecting your devices. For example, in our mobile phones, when you want to open your mobile phones, you click on when you want to open your mobile phone, you have to enter your password, right? Now, when you are entering your password, it is the function of the operating system to secure that your mobile device, to make sure that the password you are entering is correct. So that is one of the functions of an operating system, security management. Now, the second function of an operating system is that system performance is boosted with the help of the operating system. Now, operating system monitor the response time taken by the system after the service request. If there is any unusual variation in the time, operating system monitors the system performance and brings the issue into the user's notice. Now, high variation or very low variation can be the result of any virus attack. The user is notified to bring the necessary changes. Now, applications or tasks and the number of users doing the task are accounted by the operating system. This helps to know the number of users and the frequency of application usage. Hence, storage can be allocated to the system for those applications that have more usage. This helps to track the user and also various tasks that take up the storage of the system. For example, if I am making use of a device, let's say I took my mommy's phone and I use my mommy's phone, the operating system will know what application visited, what did you do on that phone, what and what places, what did you do, how many hours, how many tasks did you complete using that phone. It is the function of the operating system to keep the usage task, usage log or task, to keep track of everything that you do in a computer system. Now, the computing system shows more errors due to the changes in the hardware, and these errors are logged in the OS. The log helps the user to identify the errors in the hardware or software and to make necessary changes in the system. This prevents the malfunctioning of the computer devices. So the operating system keeps track of errors, any mistake, any error, anything that happens, the operating system keeps track of. Many users use the computing system. Operating system helps to collaborate and coordinate the interpreters, compilers, and assemblers. This maintains the order of the system and the users are not confused with the functioning of various software. The main memory is managed by operating system. Several bytes make up the main memory and each byte will have an address. This memory is accessed from the CPU. The program is loaded in the main memory for the program to run efficiently. Operating system tracks the main memory usage by each application. Also, operating system decides which memory should be allocated to which program and how much memory should be allocated, and how many users must be given access to check the memory status. Operating system does the process of scheduling. It decides the time of each process assigned. That is the time of each work that you want to do. Now, all the activities of operating system, of management, work management is done by the operating system. Just like in registers, it also keeps track the status of all the processes. This program is done by the traffic controller. When the process is not required, the processor is deallocated by operating system. Now, operating system does device management easily. To manage your devices, your communication, the sending and receiving of information like we did in information transmission, the devices connected to the system are connected and monitored as well with the use of operating system. A program is made responsible for the devices connected, which are called the input and output controller. Now, the access to the devices by the programs and the time duration is decided by the system. Operating system manages our files, that is the directories, the folders. All these directories have and files are being managed by operating system. Information regarding the files, user access details, and settings are being managed and monitored by the operating system. This helps the user to check the files and provide details of the files by checking the time duration and log. Operating system is also called the file system due to the file management provided by the operating system. Now, operating system check whether the system is ready to work. It is the function of the operating system to manage the booting. Okay. Now, if the system is rebooted and operating system makes the system to work, this is done by shutting down all the applications so that the application that uses more storage is closed. This helps the user to decide the application for their use. And when the system reboots, the application takes less space. Booting also helps to install and start newly installed software and to work based on customer needs. So now, the operating system manages everything concerning the booting, the rebooting, and the shutting down of the computer system. So now, in conclusion, the user interface and application interface help the user to understand the application software and the operating system. Operating system provides extra function to the system functionalities and done without failure. Coordination with all the applications and tasks help the application to perform well. If a program is written outside the assigned memory, the program is deleted. So therefore, the operating system manages all the resources. Without operating system, your computer is as well as useless. When you buy a new computer, you need to install an operating system on that computer before it will start working. Otherwise, that computer device will not be able to work. Now, I hope you understood this question properly. If you have any questions, you can forward your questions for us to answer. Now, after completing this video, you go to the lesson section, read the required documents, and then proceed to practice tests to answer your questions. Thank you. And this video is coming to you from computer department from Holy Rosary College of Girls College.